I'm here because I wanted to talk about the power of forgiveness. And I'm talking about it today because I had one of my beautiful sisters to purchase my forgiveness letter, which is so powerful. And I wanted to just talk a little bit about forgiveness and then also give you the opportunity to grab that forgiveness letter. And I dropped the link in the comments. So, forgiveness, let's talk about forgiveness. And so, for me, I am a person that forgives easily and quickly. I've always been that way since I was a child. And I think a lot of it is because my grandmother taught me, it's no need to hold on to things. Just let shit go. And so I have always done that. And so one thing that I know that a lot of people talk about is, if I forgive them, then that's just telling them that, it's okay. But that's not the truth. Forgiveness, and I have notes, y'all. Forgiveness isn't about condoning bad behavior. It's about freeing yourself from the emotional chains that keep you stuck in pain, resentment, and grief. So this forgiveness is for you mainly. Now, of course, it's for the other person as well, but it really is all about you because this is what's going to set you free. Because think about how, you hold on to unforgiveness and bitterness and, something happened to you 30 years ago and you still holding on to it. Something is wrong with that, y'all. Something is wrong with that. And so, if you're struggling to forgive somebody, a loved one, a lot of people struggle to forgive an ex. Some people struggle to forgive their parents. Some people struggle to forgive siblings, relatives, friends. We had all kinds of stuff that, will go into forgiveness and unforgiveness. And the thing about it is, when you hold on to it, you block your blessings, you block your peace. Really, you block your power because when you are in unforgiveness and you can't forgive, think about that. Think about that. That means that somebody else is holding power over you and they probably don't even know about it. They don't even know. They don't even care. But you are around here holding on to bitterness and unforgiveness. And so we're going to talk a little bit about, how to forgive. We're going to share some benefit. I'm going to talk about spiritual healing that can happen. And the first thing I'm going to say is why forgiveness is vital for emotional and spiritual healing. Because why? Because unforgiveness keeps your nervous system in a stress loop. It can lead to physical illnesses, mental distress, and spiritual disconnection. And you know what? Y'all know this. Most people already know that. If you went to church, they taught you a little bit about it, but most people already know this. That this is what happens. And so forgiveness, again, is not for them, it is for you. It doesn't mean that you got to reconcile or you got to pretend they didn't hurt you or any of that kind of stuff. Forgiveness is the gift that you give yourself to reclaim your energy. That is what it's all about. You know what I mean? So forgive and move on. Now, that doesn't mean forget about it. That doesn't mean any of that. That means that you have taken it out of your heart, taken them out of your heart being in bitterness from them. This means that you let yourself off the hook, you let them off the hook, and that's what we need to do. The power of self-forgiveness, and see, this is the thing that I have been working on is forgiving myself because as I said, earlier, I'm quick to forgive other people. Always have been. I'm really I am. But forgiving me, that's a whole nother thing. And so that is the journey that I have been on is learning how to forgive me. So when I did my forgiveness letters, I did a few. When I did that exercise that I have here for you in the comments, when I did my letters, the first person that I did one for was myself. Okay, and I think I burned it as well. And I'll talk about that in a minute. But I did one for myself, and then I did a couple of other people that I could think of. And it was so freeing and so wonderful to do. And the thing about it is, if you are carrying shame and guilt, which is what you're carrying when you are in unforgiveness, it's hard to fully be present. It's hard to step in your power. So this thing is about being able to set yourself free so that you can step into your power, so that you can forgive yourself for, shit you fucked up. I'm going to tell you the truth. There are so many things lately that I sat down and looked at and forgave myself because I really held myself, you know, to a really high standard, higher than probably I would hold anybody else. And so there were things that I did that, I was holding on to unforgiveness for that, for me. And so when I began to look at these blocks and I began to open it up and see what it was about, and then start to forgive myself about it, about the decisions that I made, about, you know, deciding to get married at 19, about that to somebody that wasn't worthy of me. And so when I think about that, it's like, oh my God, and I held myself under for that. Like I held the bitterness. I held the unforgiveness of me, because I made that decision. I stood up there and did that. You know what I mean? And there were things along the way in my life that I see, that I look at now, and I realize that, I was holding myself hostage, really is what you're doing. I was holding myself hostage by not forgiving myself for things that happened in the past. Some I felt like I didn't have any other choice to do whatever the thing I did. You know what I mean? There were things that I did that, I didn't have a choice. I didn't feel I had a choice. And to be honest with you, that is the most important thing, because you got to feel that you have a choice. You see what I'm saying? And so when you don't feel like you have a choice, and then you holding yourself hostage for making this decision that, in hindsight was stupid or was not appropriate enough to make, you probably could have done something different, that type of thing. And so I have 5 soulful tips to practice forgiveness. One is acknowledge the pain. And we've kind of been talking about that a little bit already. Don't bypass your emotions. Feel them, journal them, speak them, talk to somebody, talk to yourself, talk to the mirror, talk to your camera on your phone. You see what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? Get it out there. Forgive yourself. The other one is to use the Ho'oponopono prayer. And that one is, amazing. I love it. You visualize the person that you want to forgive, if yourself or anybody else. You say, I'm sorry. You take a deep breath, of course, and you get, connected. And you say, I'm sorry. Please forgive me, while you're visualizing this person. And if it's you, that's perfect. And you say, thank you. I love you. And this is the simple Ho'oponopono prayer. It's the Hawaiian healing prayer. Let's see. The thing about it is so potent. Like, I've done it a few times, and it's amazing how it happens, and it actually really begins to set you free. And then you can also write that forgiveness letter. Like, I have that forgiveness letter in the comments here. If you don't see this, you can go to my stand store, and it's a forgiveness exercise. And so you can grab that. You don't have to send it, just write it, write everything you want to say, and release it ceremonially. So you can burn it, you can bury it, you can flush it down the toilet. Um, you can let it go in the wind, tear it up and let it go in the wind, which I wouldn't advise that because that's littering. But yeah, so it's different ways, that you can, whatever you decide that works for you, that you like. I like fire, so I burn. And now that I live out here in this beautiful place, I might bury some things. It might be some things buried in the land once I leave it. So, but you don't have to send it. You just write it. If it's to you, that's perfect. If it's for anybody else, like you realize as you sit and as you listen to the sound of my voice that there are people that you need to forgive, and you write this letter. And then my favorite, y'all, mirror work. Practice mirror work. Look at yourself in the eye and say, I forgive you. I set you free. I love you. This is my favorite. You know why? Because I do it like on a daily basis. I do it every day because there are some things that I made some dumb mistakes. That's what I thought, and now I'm releasing that and releasing the judgment over it as well. But some things I did, and so I'm setting myself free when I do this. So I look in the mirror and I say, I forgive you. And I say my name, Tammy. I forgive you. I set you free. And then I say, I love you. I said, girl, I love you so much. And this is what I do. Then you could also do a forgiveness meditation or hypnosis. You can visualize yourself handing the pain back to the universe, cutting cords, and stepping into your light. Also, you can do a cord cutting meditation. Those are always good. You can find most of them on YouTube somewhere. I think I actually have a forgiveness meditation on my channel on YouTube at Intuitive Tammy. So those are some of the things that you can do. Of course, there are other things, probably lots. There's lots of things that you can do. But these are just some of the ones that I'm sharing and most of the ones I do. So the thing of it is think about it. What are you ready to heal, to let go of? Are you ready to heal your heart and step into your purpose? Forgiveness is going to be the first thing that you want to do with that. So if you're on this journey and you are looking to step into your purpose, you're looking to heal, you're looking to grow, all of these things, start with forgiveness. Forgiveness would be the first thing. And if it was me, I would grab that forgiveness letter that I dropped in the comments. And if you're someplace else and it's not in the comments, you can go in my stand store at Intuitive Tammy and grab it. So if you're ready to go deeper, I'm urging you to download that forgiveness letter, grab it from my stand store. And the other invitation I have for you today is join Remember Who the Fuck You Are community for more healing and soul work. We get together with Zoom calls twice a month. It's amazing. Community is there, people, like-minded folks. We're going to learn and we're going to grow together and be able to just, I want everybody to be super. You know what I mean? I consider myself superwoman. And so I want everybody to be super. And I want everybody to remember who the fuck they are. So again, thank y'all so much for joining me today. I appreciate you guys for subscribing. If you're subscribers, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. And I'm going to put that invitation out to become a subscriber, paid or not. Just come and join the community. Come and join the space where you're going to get me. You're going to get all this wisdom and goodness. And I just really appreciate you. Bye now.